What's up, guys? We have a new speed cell releasing tomorrow, ZOROARK, in around like 16 to 17 hours from this video. And yeah, let's go over the moves as always. I'm gonna explain the moves so you just know in case you want to buy this Pokemon on release, you know exactly what you're jumping into. So it's gonna be a speedster again, a melee, so it's very squishy, a lot of damage, a lot of dashes. This Pokemon has so many dashes, it's actually insane. And a very weird Night Slash mechanic, though I will obviously talk about and explain how Night Slash works, because it's quite weird. For head items, I mean, it's a damage dealer, right? Floatstone, Tech Blade, Razor Claws, Muscle Band, all of those are totally fine. And you can pretty much do whatever you want. So let's just jump into some gameplay. First up, we have ZOROARK'S passive, which is Illusion. It can turn into any Pokemon on the battlefield, pretty much. It's quite funny. I think if I just press, I turn into things, but like, I think depending on who you target with this, so if I target the red buff a bit like this, I turn into red buff as well. So quite funny. Pretty much can turn into any Pokemon if I just drag it there. And yeah, even I will showcase this the first thing. It's just too hilarious not to show it. It is too hilarious not to show it. We can turn into Zapdos. Just like this. There we go. And then we can fly around as Zapdos. Would be quite hilarious, of course. Sadly, the new map is not here in the practice mode, so it's something else. But we can turn into Zapdos and then just run around the map, or Dreadnought, whatever you want. It's quite hilarious, of course, if you take damage, it will break. Or if you do damage, it will break. So, gotta obviously be aware of that. But yeah, quite hilarious already. We can turn pretty much into anything. Now, Bulbasaur of the enemy team. And also, this is very interesting, because so the way the enemies see you is as an ally. That's how it works. So the enemies will see, if you're an illusion, that's where it becomes good. If you're illusioned, the enemies will see you as one of their own. If you have a blue HP bar or green HP bar, and you will act as, you know, one of theirs as well. If you just press the button, you know, if I turn into Bulbasaur or something of the enemy team, they will see me as one of their own, which makes them very good. And for the early game of the first basic moves, you pretty much have Fury Swipes. You can use it once, and if we hit an opponent, we can use it again. So if you don't hit anything, can show it right here, then you will have not a second dash. There you go. But if you hit it, we can dash again. So a lot of mobility early game. Because Slash also gives it's another movement ability. So early game, we already have 2 movement abilities, which is quite nice, either in case you lane, or you just for early ganks, even though you will evolve quite fast. But that can be helpful during laning phase, right? There's a good amount of damage as well, so it can probably last it, and then you can also escape quite easily. And for level 5, so that we have Night Slash and Fate Attack. So let's first talk about Night Slash. So Night Slash pretty much turns your auto attack into like a dash. So you activate Night Slash, and then you auto attack, or you move into direction. It's so weird to use. So we activate it, we dash, and then we have to basic attack and then dash again. Otherwise it doesn't. Like, you have to chain it up. It has to chain multiple times for it to work. So we dash, then we dash again, and then we go into this big X and do massive damage that also heals. And so if you mess it up once, then it's like it goes on a full cooldown. So if you like dash the wrong direction and you don't hit one of your opponents, it will go on a full cooldown. It's gonna be something you have to get very used to, but you pretty much just, it's kind of like Dodrio, where you have to jump into the same direction you are looking at and auto attack into it. So again, like, it's such a weird ability. And if I just see, if I just press Night Slash and just press A, nothing happens. I actually need to move. So if I just do this and auto attack, it doesn't work. I need to actually move, and then we can do this. So pretty interesting move, I have to say. At level 7 we get Cut and Shadow Claw. Let's first talk about Shadow Claw. So it's a dash that either stuns right here. If it's in this area, it stuns. And if it's the end of the area, it will knock up instead. So this is a short stun. Not too long either, it's very short stun. And then if we hit the edge of it, then we get a stun. And the nice thing about Night Slash as well is you can use your Shadow Claw or Cut during the X. So we can do this. Okay, there we go. Already did it a few times. And then we can actually dash onto something as well. And even use the eject button during it. So if we want to get a lot of distance, right? So quite nice that we can actually use our things there. So this is something we just have to practice. I will see how it works in the regame. I couldn't play this on test server because on 300 ping, I literally could not chain my Night Slashes. It was impossible to play this on the test server, so I couldn't try this build myself, sadly. And we'll see how it performs tomorrow. So for the other 5 move, we have Feint Attack, which is another dash. Everything in this Pokemon dashes. Every single move dashes except for the Unite move. We dash and we leave the circle behind. You see it on the ground. And we can reactivate and go back to it, and go back to it, and go back to it, and then we have a final attack. So that's something that you have to chain up your movement abilities quite a lot. And again, we just dash, we dash back. And if we don't miss it, like if you miss it, then it's gonna go into cooldown. So let me show that as well. If you do this, and then we go back without hitting an opponent, it goes on cooldown. And this point can be changed as well. Let me go to cut now. Let me get cut, which is another dash. So right here, dash dashes, and it heals, which is quite nice. So some form of getting some sustain as well. Can also be used during Night Slash. So what we can do is we can feint attack. So I'm going to show it once. We feint attack something, and then we cut, and then our position changes. So we can, with the other two moves, we can change our feint attack position. So what we could do in theory is like do something like this, cut, and then we can do it very fast on opponents and burst them down. That's like one of the combos you can already see. It's quite nice to do. Feint attack to someone melee, do a short cut, and then we just smash our feint attack and hope that we hit our opponents, because obviously if it's too far back right, then enemies might have an easier time of reacting with it. But yeah, it changes every single time onto your last dash. So quite nice. It's very important to, you know, utilize dash during it. I know there's like another combo I haven't figured out yet too much, but yeah. Or you can... I just figured out a new combo, I think. Wait. You can use feint attack and cut together. Wait, let me... So right now... Oh no, this was still hitting. That's why it was still in range. Never mind. I was excited for a second. I thought I could maybe make this bigger. Oh, I think I can, actually. I think I can. So again, this wasn't in range, right? This is not in range. But then... if we use feint attack and cut... Okay, now it didn't work. Maybe it's something... I'm for sure try this out and see if it works. No, it doesn't seem to work anymore. So yeah, quite interesting build. And then we get this last slash as well. It's similar to Blaze Kick, I think. So you can kind of choose where you jump off to. So, depending on what cursor, if I go my cursor to the left, I will jump over to the target on the left. Very cool Pokemon for sure. So, so many dashes. Let's talk about the Unite move, which is just AoE damage in an area around it. This is the only thing that doesn't dash. It doesn't dash. So we just cast it and then we explode. Looks very cool as well. I think that might be the weakest part of this kit though. Like, it's just, I mean, just pure damage, right? But it's a lot of damage as well. Of course, enemies can maybe run out of it, eject button, move out of it, right? So like it doesn't stun. It's just pure damage. Pure damage and nothing else. And it does get, like, it gets bigger. We are immune to hindrances as well by releasing the shockwaves, which is kind of weird. We move into hindrances. Okay, so we can't get stunned. That's kind of nice. So we're immune, we're completely unstoppable, which means I can't get interrupted. That's actually quite a nice part. And you might be able to dodge certain things with it. Let's say you get Blastoise Unite moved, you can just press it and you don't get Blastoise Unite moved, right? Which is obviously always a nice thing to have. Let me see for this Pokemon, like, this is maybe the combo right here, and when you do this, and then bam, and guy's dead, you know? That's what I mean with the cut. Making our dash very small, allowing us to get our combo out very fast. And we can turn into Zapdos again. And maybe run around the Zapdos a bit. But I think the bot will... Let's see if the bot knows. Can we turn into Rayquaza? Zapdos? Please? I don't know how illusion actually works like 100% either. There we go. Will he know? Oh, he's attacking me. How did he know? The bot is too smart. So you can see this Pokemon has so many dashes. Let me see how much does it also against... Yeah, it also against white Pokemon, so Cut has a nice heal in it. And yeah, I don't know which build I'm going to play. I feel like everything feels kind of similar. Again, I'm very looking forward to try Night Slash because I couldn't. But this was the build I tried on test server, and I was a big fan of it. Of course, the Shadow Claw, I think it's called Shadow Claw, the other one, is also very strong since it stuns too. But I did like the heal on the Cut. I like the heal with this build, or the Cut, Short Dash. So we get our Night Slashes, or I mean Feint Attacks. I keep saying Night Slash and Feint Attack differently. Keep them up. And I guess it also works against white Pokemon, as you can see. So we can also clear stuff with it quite fast. Can do a lot of damage very fast. Hope you guys found this guide helpful. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe.